Yes, dear one. Where do we begin?
The first question I want to ask, I have a couple, if that's okay. Is, I like talking to you every week. Is that disempowering in any way, to ask a question every week?
It would only be disempowering if you give away your power.
Mm.
So, how do you give your power away typically? So that we,
I typically give my power away by saying I'm a victim. I can't have what I want. I don't feel like I'm giving my power away in these conversations. I find them fun and useful. But I just kind of wanted to ask.
well, do you wait all week until you can talk to us? Or do you
No.
then do you get your answers other ways? Is there really anything important about the questions you ask with us on Monday? Are they in the moment? Are they relevant to the now? What might you how might you feel that you are disempowered? It's important to know if you are giving your power away. So if you had the thought, well, I can't really sit with my higher self and get answers, then are you making efforts to get answers through your higher self? Because that, of course, is the ultimate connection that you want to build. And you have been doing that, haven't you?
Yeah.
So that's an empowering action. Asking a question on the Monday night is an empowering action if you are truly willing to have your higher self drop information in through that channel, through that vehicle that will allow you to become more. So just being aware, hey, I talk to Tara on Monday nights, but I create the conversation. On some level, I'm writing that script. And that's part of the fun is I get to reveal to myself a script that I'm writing. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
So yes, the thought that you might be disempowering yourself is an important one to question within yourself. Do I choose to give away my power? Do I know that these conversations are my illusion for me? That on some level, I'm creating those events. Not alone, I have a higher self, I have a soul and a spirit, but that we are part of your illusion is part of the fun. The measure of, am I living magically? Wow, I can go and talk to Tara on a Monday night. She's not even from my reality. She's not from my universe. And I can get a perspective that I lack because I'm in the physical plane. Now, do you need to talk to us? No, you could go sit with your higher self. But for some of you, that conversation isn't real enough yet sometimes. Not necessarily for you, we're not speaking about you, but for others present, the higher self is still sort of this vague being that, well, should I believe? Shouldn't I? Can I trust? It's a choice to trust your higher self. And together, you and higher self can create all sorts of magic, as you know, including having conversations with us on Monday evening that help further your growth, that help your journey, that give you insight into who you are being. Yes, you could do it alone, but you have to ask yourself, would it be as fun? And would it be as elegant and easy? Does that help answer your question?
Yes. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Um,
Question.
and the next kind of sort of, along the same veins that I wanted to ask is, we're training Sandy now. And I know there's sort of with Moo Moo and Ruru and Sandy, I know there's the great canine spirit and the great lean feline spirit. And I do work with them with the animals, but I've kind of never been, I've never seen a training on, how do you work with the great canine spirit. And as I'm working with Sandy, um, you know, I just call them in, or the great feline spirit, and call them in, and just talk to them about, and also I have my higher self and the great canine spirit, and I'll call them in and just say kind of what I'm trying to do with Sandy and where we're at. Is there any way they like to be, how do they like to work?
All right. So wonderful what you're doing, that you have an awareness that there is an energy that is a part of each of your pets that's greater, the great represents the greater of them.
And there's only one, like they don't have an individual higher self, right? It's this great feline spirit and the great canine spirit, or do they have a higher self? Because I
Well,
thought they didn't.
it's a bit tricky because some pets are coming to you to evolve into the next evolution of their spirit, their soul. So as you understand that there is a group soul, but it doesn't make them the same. If you meet your neighbor's dog, is that dog the same as your dog?
No, no.
Yeah, in the physical plane, they have personality, don't they?
Yes.
Yes. And so, but outside of the physical plane, the animals have agreements, they have a function as a group of souls, so to speak, a diva of the energies that make up that particular family of souls, so to speak. So they are a consciousness, and there is a higher level consciousness before the personalities. Personalities are in the physical plane only. When a pet exits the physical plane, they are not that personality. They're part of something greater, something more, much like you are part of your higher self, much like you are part of a soul, you see. And that consciousness, it is not an I consciousness, it is not an individual, it is something more. It is a unifying force that these beings that are experiencing dog lives or cat lives, so to speak, in the physical plane at this time, it's part of their journey. I want to see what that's like. Maybe I'll be in it a long time, maybe I'll be in it a short time. It just depends on their what they're there to do. But they do, those of you who have a pet, those pets are in the more real. You have called them to you, and they have called you to them. Sometimes that balance is very obvious. Which way did it go? Many of you understand your pets choose you for their experience. And on some level, you chose them, but they're actually a little more conscious than you are in some ways. They don't have the need to fit into society, so to speak. They don't have the ego, the same type of ego challenge that the human consciousness has. It serves its purpose. It's very important. You don't want to give it up. You need the self I in order to be the individual. But don't mistake that your pets have that same goal. They don't have that goal. They're here to be, they're exploring their way of being. What's fun about being a dog? What's fun about being a cat? And each of you who have had pets, especially if you've had a series of pets, you recognize the traits of dogs in general, and you appreciate the personality of the dog that comes to you, or with the cats as well. And you even appreciate the interaction of dogs versus cats. Sometimes they love to play together. Other times they like to play the role of, I'm different. Sometimes they play the role of fear, afraid of everything. Sometimes they play the role of being very needy, needing attention, needing love. So they become whatever you need them to be. And so if you have something showing up in your pets that feels like an imbalance, it's up to you to give them permission to be free of that. I don't need you to be a mirror for my fear. Because fear is not natural in the animal kingdom. Not the way humans have fear. Dogs live in the moment. Cats are they have a little bit more time in their schedule. They have 9 lives, you see. And they have strategy. So they bring in a different energy than dogs. Dogs are all about being in the moment, in the joy of the moment. I wonder how much fun I can create right now. Cats are like, I'll get to it tomorrow. I'll just enjoy what I've got right now. The pets, the treats, whatever. So as you really let in that it's tempting to treat pets as though they are on the evolution of humans, they are not. Can they make a leap? Yes, they can. Some of you know your pet comes to you, you know their function is to be close to you so that they make that leap easily the next time. And they bring you more awareness of yourself than any other pets have. They bring you more love, more joy. They see you. And it's a gift. Not every pet can do that. Not every pet wants that. But the ones that do, you treasure them because they help you grow. And so as you allow each pet to let you know, are you here for me? So that we both grow. And let them give you the honest answer, because not all pets are. But if they are, it's important to pay attention. It's important to be available. And it's also important to know that when they leave the earth plane, they are returning to something greater that is not a personality, not an individual. Can they return? Yes, they can. They can do that. They can return. But you want to allow them the freedom to choose. That's the gift you give them. An awareness. They are more. They are something more than what I'm experiencing in the physical plane. Does that help?
It's very interesting. I think for we're training Sandy right now, and the trainer's like, she's never seen a dog as stubborn as Sandy, except for one dachshund. And so the one thing, like for the thought for me with Sandy is that just meaning like Harry and I each have stubborn within us that we need to release? Is that what Sandy's reflecting?
Well, it could be. It could be also that she is representing the rebel.
Mm-hmm.
We suggest checking in with the adolescent.
Mm-hmm.
And she herself has her journey. How old is she approximately?
The vet, I mean, she's a rescue. The vet thinks when we got her last Thanksgiving, he thought she was about 2. So she's a little over 2.5 now.
Yes, adolescent.
Mm-hmm.
She's in her own adolescence, if you use the 7-year rule.
Mm-hmm.
She's in her late teens, early 20s,
Mm-hmm.
wants to be free to do her own thing.
Mm-hmm.
So as you just appreciate that, oh, okay, she's reflecting some of the issues that came up for me in my adolescence. And as she ages, she will mature. How much was stubbornness a part of your adolescence?
Oh, Harry and I are both stubborn people. I mean, we're still stubborn. It's, yeah, yeah. But then
Yeah.
how do I
So as you understand, okay, my stubbornness probably works well in some cases, and other times it looks just like Sandy. It's annoying. It's not productive. So I need to choose consciously when I use stubbornness, when I take a position about something, when I don't want to be moved yet. As you look to see what was that about? Well, I know when I'm ready. And if I'm not ready, I'm not going to move. That's a powerful insight to know when you're ready. I haven't gathered enough information. I haven't done my process, whatever that is. Now, with Sandy, she wants what she wants.
yes,
And she's teaching you about that.
yes,
What does it look like when you're clear about what you want? And what does consensus tell you is wrong with it? How it's a problem for everybody? As a spiritual adult, wanting what you want is very powerful. As a spiritual adult, you can request it with harm to none, with elegance and ease. In Sandy's case, being the adolescent energy that she's representing, she could harm herself in some cases. And so, as her parent, so to speak, your parental authority is important. You're there to set the boundaries, not as a control mechanism, but as a creating safety for her. And that's important. And Sandy's looking at you saying, what's the big deal? Why do I have to be a good dog? What's wrong with just being me? And that resonates with you. Why do I have to conform? I don't. I'm a map maker magician. Conforming is death. Why bother being here? I can't be me. So she's reflecting some of that back to you. So as you claim it within yourself, the right to be you, and to treasure that and value it and be proud the way Sandy is proud to take her stand. As you value you, Sandy will calm down. also. She will evolve. She'll, oh, okay, well, maybe I need to have my way right now, or maybe I just want to please Helen or Harry.
But we're trying to train her to be a service dog so she can go on an airplane with us. So she has to be very trained.
Is that
And
is that for her highest good? Is that who she is energetically?
I I think she's an adventurous soul who would like to travel. And so but I'm not sure. Maybe she just likes to travel in the car and not on an airplane. I don't know.
So a service dog is a certain personality,
Mm-hmm.
compliant, respectful, understanding, compassionate, easygoing, relaxed, more relaxed than any of the people they work with because they know that relaxation contributes. They know their role. They know their resonance makes a difference. They're wise beyond their years often. So as you hear this description, is Sandy that model?
Well, she's very calm normally, but she wants what she wants. And maybe so I feel like some of it is and some of it isn't. So maybe it's a bad idea.
Well, maybe it's just not her time to do that. Maybe she's too young to do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's in conflict with the the phase that she's in.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? But we
That,
would also venture that her personality isn't quite there, not yet,
mm-hmm.
that it's a disruption.
Mm-hmm.
Because in order for her to be peaceful all the time, when she's bounding with adolescent energy and she wants to go explore and she just wants to play and she needs to be able to be that.
Mm-hmm.
So if she has 2 hours of being of service and then she can go be herself, that could work. But if she's being told, no, you have to be this service dog all the time, that's not going to work.
No, but I think she wants to be out front and not be like healing. She wants to be the leader and decide where she goes when she goes. And frankly, most of the time, Harry and I don't care. But working with a trainer, the trainer's like, no, 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 no. And that's where I'm like, I am kind of conflicted about it because I'm like, I don't know if that's where she's at in life right now. Um, she doesn't seem to want to heal, but then she can do it. She really hates the trainer, and the trainer really seems to. But what's interesting is when we started working with the trainer, Sandy sometimes like the biggest thing is she doesn't like to make eye contact because if she doesn't make eye contact, she's like, I can get my way. And the trainer showed me, and now it's very informative. If she looks away and down, that's trauma. But if she kind of looks away but looks up, that's just her being her adolescent. Now I get it. It's her adolescent stubbornness. And like in today's lesson, she never looked down once. So it's actually building her confidence. But so I can see her confidence being built. But yeah, I don't necessarily want her to um, lose that exuberant joy that she's got, where she's like,
She's not going to lose it from the training, just to be
right.
clear.
Mm,
What we're really saying is don't stop the training, but is your expectation of putting her in service appropriate? Is that for you or is that for her?
it's so we can travel with her. And I mean, so Harry's legally blind and if I'm not around with the car and needs to take her somewhere, he has to be able to get her on a bus or the metro. And it turns out Lyfts and Ubers, like they won't accept you 75% of the time. And we've done it. Like we were down at the mall, and showing people around, and the Uber came and he was like, I won't take her in the car. And I'm like, but she's a service dog. I mean, she's already registered and we've got the ID card. And he was like, uh-uh. So she does need but she doesn't need more training to go on the metro or the bus. She's registered and she's good enough as she is. So it's for his disability, she's as good as she needs to be if she doesn't go on an airplane. Uh, so we wouldn't have to do more now. But it is good. Like she does need to. She came to us. She didn't even know. She know new knew no commands and didn't know how to walk on a leash. She has no sit. Like so we need sit. We need stay. So that's been helpful. But it is that thing of how far do we take this right now? And I think I love what you're saying. It's like maybe we keep going, but not too far and let her walk ahead and don't like she doesn't need to heal all the time. Um, and let her be her teenage self. And that's I
Yes,
think
the
that
more important thing to train is when you see that she needs to heal, that she does,
yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
that she understands the commands and that she responds to them. That's for everyone's highest good.
Mm,
Not to prove that you can heal her all the time, but rather that when it's appropriate, you see people coming up or another dog in the area or a cat crossing the road, that when you say heal, she comes
yeah,
and
yeah,
obeys, that she trusts you and Harry enough to answer that command because it's for her benefit.
yeah, yeah.
It's an important training that will serve her and you well in the future. Is that
Interesting. Can I ask really quickly about Mumu?
certainly
Or um, I'm absolutely fascinated by Mumu because I've been told that she's my only physical friend from Sirius that has come with me. And she will not allow Harry and I to fight. So if we start arguing, she physically gets in between the two of us and meows. And Harry's like, after the uh, Gazan attacks on Israel on October 7th, that month afterwards, he was like, I think she saved our marriage because every time we started to fight about Israel and Palestine, she got in between the two of us. And even like 2 months ago, we were having an argument in our bedroom, and as usual, it's me. I'm yelling at Harry because he's pissed me off about something he said about Israel. And she comes on the bed and she's getting in between the two of us, and I'm yelling at Harry, and she's doing her meow. But this time, it's one of the only times I've never stopped yelling. And he's like, Helen, Moo is here. You're yelling. You've got to stop. And I'm like, no, I'm gonna. And she leaves the bed, and both of us pause for a second because we're like, what happened? She left. And but then I keep going and yelling at her. 2 minutes later, she comes back with a live bird in her mouth and sets it free in the bedroom. So we have to stop arguing and chase this bird around the bedroom. And so I feel it's very fascinating because she's very fixated on me. But I feel like, since Sandy's come, she's really gotten displaced. I don't spend as much time with her. She's never been focused on anybody but me. She's not really interested in anybody but me. She's starting to get a little more interested in Harry, but I kind of feel like I don't know how to do as much magic with her. Like as a cat, she also wants 1 to 2 sessions a day. She's not getting them as much because of Sandy, and then like because Ruru's gone downstairs. I'll do the place that Moo was starting to go downstairs more to get away from the dog, but that's not so true anymore. But then Ruru started taking over Moo's play sessions. And so I don't know if I know for a while, I think she was quite lonely, but I don't know how I'm not clear on, is her magic just for me? And if so, is she with Sandy here, how do I make sure she really is so wonderful to Harry and I, and making sure she's keeping the peace. I don't know how to respect her magic and what she is here to do with Sandy in the house.
So, and that requires you sort of doing a blending with her,
Mm.
where you commune with her and ask, not so much in words, but in pictures. What would be best? What do you want? And then let her send you pictures in your mind, however they come. Get a sense of knowing. Let her know you're listening, you're curious. What's next?
Hmm.
And then let us know how that goes.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, we love you so. All right, who is next, John?
Henry. Hello, Tara. How wonderful to be with you again today.
Yes,
Uh,
Lord. Where we begin?
the what you said about imagination last week, it took me quite a long time to understand what was going on, but then I realized how important it was, and how yes, it sends me it kind of sends me in the wrong direction, or I take it in the wrong direction, or I just need to ground it. So anyway, I've been watching that this week, but also you said about bringing it into the more real, and I wasn't quite sure exactly what that meant. But is that what does it mean to?
So what have you noticed so far first? It's important to acknowledge what you are understanding so far.
Um, that I tend to yeah, I tend to take a whatever incident, because I'm always reading the signs, whatever they are. It's a thing from other lifetimes as well. But and tending to just go with what the worst it could mean, and without any evidence, without any real evidence. I'm imagining, and I don't really necessarily go and find out what the evidence is. And you were saying to. Or I got the impression it was about, out of something this week actually, people talking about opening my senses to, what we did on Thursday as well, yes. um, opening my senses to see what's really there. But then you also mentioned the more real. I wasn't quite sure bringing it into the more real, but that's into that place where I go with my higher self, is it?
Yes. Yes.
So.
So the more real is the unseen realms, certainly so. You can go to imagination, you can go to creativity, you can go to Lemuria, you can go to mm, anywhere, anywhere that you choose, truly. The gift of imagination is what allows you to go into the more real. And how you utilize your imagination is important because as a map maker magician, as a reality creator, as a miracle maker, what is your function or purpose, or what is the higher truth of who you are? What does it mean to make a map? Well, at the most obvious meaning, you come into a world of pain to transform the world of pain into something beautiful. So what does the focus of the imagination need to be on? Is it to continue to add to the pain, or is it to create the next version where the beautiful thrives? So taking your imagination into the more real is really about dreaming and visualizing what you want and visioning new dreams and visions for the world, bringing in new visions. What's going to manifest? How do I know there's a new world coming? What evidence am I beginning to see? Wow, the conversations I'm having are different. The thoughts I'm having are different. The feelings I'm having are different. I want more of those higher truths to be a part of my future. So I'm going to visualize who's the me that's benefiting from this new world. Who am I really? Because you see, as you say, well, I have a powerful imagination. So I very quickly decide what's the worst case scenario. And then I just act as if that's the truth.
And I can't do anything about it.
So why not? You have the mechanism. I observe something I imagine. What if I imagine the best it could mean, the most positive it could mean, and then act as if? What would change for me?
A lot.
Yes. So try that out for a week and see where it takes you.
Well, yes, I think it's the other thing I really wanted to talk about was the events that happened this week. Which now you've said that, I realised that was coming out of that, and that I had some wonderful, exciting adventures this week. There was an open mic in the street in Venice, and I did some Shakespeare, and it's it's just such a feeling of belonging when the other people are kind of talking to you about what you did and what they did, and the audience enjoying it, and just being in that place. And then there was an art walk, and I I started talking to a 19-year-old, and she said, "What advice would you give to a 19-year-old about the future?" And so we started talking about
Wonderful.
yeah, it was, and I thought, oh yeah, started talking about creating your own reality and those sort of things, and just discover. We talked for a couple of hours, and just discovering that generation. I mean, it's a completely different generation. I mean, just what you said about imagining what it's like. I mean, I think you said or we said on the Thursday about pain not being part of it anymore in that sort of way, and I can see how that works, and I can see how talented I found she was, and her just approach to things is what we've been working towards, and it was just so much fun. And then I went to this incredible birthday party on Saturday with huge pile of crabs and shrimp and all that sort of thing. We just felt so out of my realm. But it's and I was dancing for 2.5 hours, and then again I did some poetry and had appreciation of that, and I was able to appreciate the other people, and then we all went to the beach and we're paddling around, and some were skinny dipping, and it's when I'm in these places with these people, my I've been finding it difficult to quite express myself in many ways, and not being able to find the words and things like that. I'm right back to where I used to be. I mean, I can just talk away and receive away and talk about all these sort of things. At the party, there were quite a few therapists of different sorts, and somatic therapists and Reiki and regular therapists, and so we were talking about what makes people tick and what works and all those sort of things. And I just have so much fun with those conversations. And then in between, I just go so flat and everything's just kind of useless. And it's just kind of, I can't get on with doing the things I need to do and getting money together and those sort of things. I just get kind of desperate about it. And then I just go, oh, and it's such a contrast, and it's driving me nuts, quite honestly. The other thing that happened on the beach was I've been tripping up and falling, and which I see is to do with the spiritual meaning of that. And that happened as I was coming back from the beach, and I scraped some toes in my knee, and that was that kind of energy, kind of going, oh well, this is all over now. You're going home alone, and that's the end of that. And um, although it was very nice to receive the attendance of someone who was looking after me, but can you say something about that? I'm
Well,
very
it's not unlike the wounding, isn't it? So you have that exuberance and that wonderful, joyous experience, and then you fall on the way home. You scrape your knee, you hurt yourself.
yes, I did notice that.
So
Yeah.
as you recognize, oh, when I'm in that exuberant place, I need to ground that energy. I need to take a moment and really savor it. And I need to ask my higher self to ground that energy. Maybe gift some of it to the earth, to flow that, not to bring yourself back into your body and reconnect with the earth before you go run off into the sunset, so to speak. Because even as you're thinking, okay, well, that's done. Now I have to go back home. But if you're not thinking of home as a special, safe place that you love,
Yeah.
then there's work to be done there around creating that safety and that safe place, and really knowing that when I go home, it's just as good. I get to be me and to really fill that space with the love that you feel, and ground that energy into your home, so that when you enter the doorway, or when you're heading back home, it becomes this beautiful metaphor of, yeah, it's my sanctuary. It's where I love to be. It's not a repository of all your negativity. Does that make sense?
Totally, it makes sense. Yes, and yeah, I
So
mean,
every
is that
often you have to clean out the energy. You need to sweep it out the door, the
mm,
negativity, or you have to do some sort of ritual of bringing a crystal in and some sage, or even just a feather, and bring in the energies, the elements,
mm,
and sweep away the negativity. Because you see, as you process that energy, that negativity that you processed out, you have to clear it out. You have to give it over. You have to transmute it, transform it. You have to bring in the light. Now, a lot of the processes that you've been doing, especially in the timelines and that sort of thing, the light comes in, the negativity is released, and the light comes in and fills the space. And so when you come back to now, you are in a different resonance than when you began.
mm,
And if you're sitting at home when you're doing that process, take a moment. I just brought back all this light. You know what I'm going to do with all that light? I'm going to fill my space with it. I'm going to fill every little nook and cranny and everywhere my negativity is still settled in and hiding. I'm going to clean it out. Might have to open a window to let it flow out, or I might open the door for a minute and sweep it out symbolically. I don't need it anymore. So it's really about being more conscious of, who am I being? So when I go to, I've had a party, I've had a great time. Okay, I'm coming back to earth, so to speak. Now
right.
I have to go about my day. I have to make meals. I have to maybe do taxes, or at least look at the letter, or look at the possibility of doing them. So instead of thinking I have to do what I don't want to do, you don't go say it all that. You just say, I don't want to do it. That's a thought. That's simply a thought. And with it comes an emotion.
Yeah.
What if you say, I think I'll go take a peek at it? I'll see if I feel like doing something about it. It's a different energy already.
Yeah.
I choose to look at it. I might not do anything. I might not be ready. I'm not going to put that pressure on me yet. Because as soon as I think I have to do something, that old stuff shows up. So I'm just going to tiptoe up to it and have a look. And I'm just going to register. How do I feel? What do I think? I still feel bad. Okay, let's release the feeling bad. It's a choice I'm making about how I'm feeling. So I'm starting to learn, oh, I feel it here in my body. I'm going to shrink it down. What is it telling me? What's the message? Is it my child? Is it my adolescent? Is it giving me some sort of idea of my automatic reactions? Is it giving me some idea of what matters to me instead? And then I release it out and I bring in something new. How do I want to feel instead when I sit here and do my paperwork? Do I want to feel relaxed? Do I want to feel good? Do I want to know that I'm loved even as I cringe at the topic? Is it okay to feel like I'm loved instead of abandoning myself? Is it okay to be angry instead of avoiding? So it's a process. We understand. It's about creating reality in accordance and compliance with your will. And you need to add and love.
Yeah.
Because without the love, you're just going to keep avoiding it. I didn't create it the way I wanted. Darn it, I'm angry. But what if I can feel that anger? And I can start looking at what's important about just dealing with it and getting it off my plate. And what if I could create some conversations, write a new script, a script that has hope and light and love in it and forgiveness, instead of one where I get punished and I'm bad and I'm wrong and I'm nothing. And why bother being here anyway? That's the old familiar stuff. And as you really let in, wow, I really haven't taken time to write a new script. Maybe I should do that first. Maybe that's the bright idea you have when you sit down and you say, I'm going to choose to pay a few moments of attention to this. Yep, the old feelings are still there. I still don't like it. I still don't want to do anything. And then you get back up and you say, maybe I'll write a different script. Maybe I don't have to feel those old emotions when I sit down. And that's important to give yourself that space. Yeah, I know how I am, but it's not who I am. It's what I do. It's what I think. It's what I say. It's not who I am. It's not the beauty of me. It's not the light and the love of me. It's not the soul that I am that is here to grow and expand. But it is part of being in the physical. And some of those tasks that you are set to do are intended to help you ground. What if you started choosing what you wanted to do to ground? so that you didn't have to have feeling bad be the way that you ground, so that you don't have to create pain and suffering to ground. What if this is that opening? Wow, if that tax bill hadn't come, I wouldn't even be thinking about this stuff. I'd still just be going along, avoiding, but not really worried. This has been a gift for you to really decide, am I going to use my magic? Am I going to show up as the magician? Or am I going to pretend that's too big for my magic? Notice we said pretend. Because you haven't yet let yourself know, I did write that script. I just don't remember it. I do have permission to change it. I just haven't remembered it yet. And one day I'm going to sit down, I'm going to change it. And I'm going to wonder, wow, I took all this time to resist it when all I had to do was rewrite it to change how I get to feel. As Lazar said, what lesson do you want to learn from this? You get to choose your lesson.
Yeah.
Is it going to be one where, wow, Henry, wow, he really avoids responsibility. He really isn't very magical. He isn't very good at anything. Is that the lesson you want to learn? That they get to be right? Or do you want to learn a different lesson? Wow, I handled my fear. And I understood that I do have the ability to respond differently, that I can choose to respond differently. That's the lesson I want to learn. Because when I chose to respond differently, I had a different outcome. I got a touch of my magic back. I got a lot of my magic back because I had lost it in the not trying, in the thinking it was bigger than me, in the thinking I was a victim. I don't want to write that script anymore. It's not who I am. And I know I'm not that because I can go to a party on the beach and I can be entertaining. I can connect with people and exchange ideas. I can enjoy the bounty that's offered with grace. I can dance and play. That's what life is about for me. That's who I am. More of who I am. And so write a different script. Try it out. What lesson do I want to learn from a tax bill showing up? Do I want to learn that life is scary and things happen out of the blue? Or do I want to learn that, wow, even in the face of something like that, when I apply my magic, I change reality. That's really cool. I used to do that all the time. Now I can do it again. You see? Start there and see how it goes. Let us know.
Are you talking about? We're talking about the imagination again, aren't we?
Well, it certainly isn't disconnected.
Right.
Certainly, but also
yeah,
your passion. Part of your magic is activated by passion.
yeah.
Yeah. Your creativity, your passion, they're intertwined quite nicely, and they activate your magic. They activate the love. So for you, it's a dance as you reminisce about Saturday and the days before where you felt that connection and that magic come alive. Analyze it. What were my steps of getting there? What did I do? That's kind of fun to look at. It's worth the analysis. It's worth knowing who you are and how you do things and what works for you.
Right. So
So
when you say when we
only you
talk,
can answer that.
I'm sorry.
Only you can answer how you got there. What
Yes.
energies did you activate within you from the moment you showed up to the moment you left the party?
Right. Yeah. But when we talk about
What had you
writing,
respond? Sorry, what was that?
is when we talk about writing a new script, I've never quite kind of understood what that is. It's just about
It's,
processing through.
it's literally what do you think and say and do, and what do they think and say and do, like a play. What role do I play? What role do they play? What's the interaction about? What's the outcome about? That's the writing of the new script. Creating a new movie, however you want to see it.
Uh,
Telling a tale, might be a
yeah.
story for some. Whatever works for you. It's really just redesigning the way things go. How, as you look at Henry's life, what's the life he's leading? What's the old story? What's the new story? And so you just take a little snippet and you say, well, in this case, in this instance, not really happy with Henry. He's really buying into the whole lesser self thing and making that way more important.
Yeah.
And he doesn't have access to his tools. He's
Yeah.
really kind of stuck in the mud. I want to, I think he needs intervention from him the more. I'm going to write that one. You get to write. How does he wake up? How does the light bulb come on? Who's helping him? What are the thoughts and feelings that he has as he gets the help he needs and the miracles that he creates? Does that help? So
Yes.
yes, imagination. But don't leave it in imagination. That was part of the warning from the wounding.
Right. Yeah.
The fantasy can be quite rich, but then you wake up to reality, quote unquote. So you haven't brought it in. You haven't allowed it, the fantasy, to become fantasia and brought into the physical realm. So what steps will you take to ground that energy in the physical plane?
Right.
Does that help?
Wonderful. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Right. Wonderful. So exciting. Thank you for your vulnerability. All right, John, who is next?
Donald. Is Donald still here?
He's with me.
Hello, Tara.
Yes, dear one. There you are.
How are we doing? I
We
think I think listening to everything you guys have been sharing has been great because I think it's answering a lot of questions for myself, but I also have I think it coincides with what I'm about to ask. So
wonderful.
what I'm feeling is I have passion, right? But I'm lacking the passion for certain things when I know I can bring it out, but for some reason I go it almost like you go numb, you know, and you just go to a blank stare, and and maybe it's because I'm checked out with where we're at now, and I am ready to go back to Florida, but at the same time, I'm willing to look deeper and I'm thinking what's coming up for me is I think I lost a little bit of my creativity. And that's what I think is kind of there for me. And I want that back because I know I'm a fun person and I can be fun and be silly and all those great things that, enjoy in life with. But also think that's what it is. It's just my creativity isn't as exuberant as I want it to be, to where I feel like I've plateaued and I need to take it to another level. And I guess that's kind of where I'm at and I'm stuck at that. And I know there's ways of going about it, and I'm willing to look within that. And and I do know that it could be hard, and it's just really just putting basically one foot in front of the other, and so yeah, I think everything's great, health's great, I'm thankful for that, but that's really what I feel like is holding me back.
All right. So let's explore it together. So
Yes.
what we're hearing is this plateau is, in a sense, a form of numbness, we'll call it.
Mm.
And you know that you're more numb. You aren't totally numb, but there's a sort of flatness to it that equals less creative, less passionate than you know yourself to be, that you have known yourself to be in the past. So you know how it feels, you know what it looks like when you're totally engaged, when you're feeling alive, when you're in the zone, so to speak, where things are just flowing magically and wonderfully through you and into your life. So you mentioned where you are now compared to where you were before.
Mm-hmm.
Is it actually that? Or is it that some of the support system that you used to have isn't there? In terms of business, if you're thinking business, in terms of relationship, if you're thinking relationship, what was your support system that allowed you the certainty, the knowing who you are and what you bring, and gave you the permission within yourself to be creative? Because you see, safety is a big part of creativity.
Yeah.
Without the safety first, the creativity kind of hides. It says, I'll come out another day. We'll just see how you go with creating safety first. So when you think of what do I need to feel safe in my world, that's a big topic. So we want you to break it down into 3 areas. What does your inner child need for safety? Well, he needs to know that you're going to put food on the table. Frankly, that's all he needs to know.
Yeah.
Your adolescent, what does he need to know? It's going to have him feel like he belongs and that he's safe and that you're actually considering him. Well, he just needs to know that you're listening to his fear and that the fear isn't bigger than him. That his fear, it's going to be okay. You know it because you survived your adolescence. It was touch and go, maybe. It was exciting and dramatic and all those things. But at the end of the day, you survived your adolescence and became the adult, became a more loving person on the road to becoming an adult. He needs to know he's going to be okay. He needs to know that you got him and that you do belong, that you have belonging in your life. Even if it's one person, you have more than that. But if it's just one person, that's all you need to really recognize I belong. That's the adolescent's concern. The spiritual adult knows they belong, already knows, and they also know they're safe, that they can create something new. So the you that is the creator is in your spiritual adult self. So you take care of the inner child's needs for safety and love that is there. And you take care of your inner adolescent, his need to know he's okay, that he's not like some weirdo.
Yeah.
So different that nobody loves him. No, he knows how to fit in. But you need to remind him he's okay the way he is. Now you're free. Now you're free to breathe, to say, oh, okay, now I can create something. What do I want to create? Okay, do I need to create something to survive? And what that means to the adult is different than the child or the adolescent. Do I have my basic needs met right now in this moment? Do I have food, clothing, shelter?
Yes.
May not be exactly the one you want in the future, but it's, you got it, right? In this moment, you're not at risk. You're not on the street in the cold with not knowing where you're going to eat the next meal. So just let yourself, give yourself the gift of knowing I have my needs met. There's a bigger part of me that wants a voice now, wants to create something new for me, for my relationship, for my family, for my loved ones that are broader even than that. I want to create a future. What sings to me? Not what can I do well enough. You know what those skills are. You have many skills. But what do I care about? What do I consider an expression of my creativity? And as you just sit with that, you don't have to answer, but just sit with that question. What do I consider worthy of my creativity? And as you just dream that, in that, your soul can drop in the answers you're seeking, the purpose you're seeking, the mattering. Because in the willingness to grow and expand yourself, in your willingness to apply who you are to something worthy of your creativity, that's different than getting a job done. That's different than checking boxes and, okay, I got paid, but yeah, that's money's gone before I even get the next job. In the mundane, you can lose creativity because it doesn't have a purpose. It's up to you to give it a purpose. What is worthy of my creativity? Because in that, you can create a life you love. You can begin to design that. How you're going to spend your day. What will be fun? Well, I need to do a little bit of work. I need to make some money. I need to have time with my loved one. And if I want more loved ones to spend time with, then I have to have even more time and more money. So I need my creativity to be powerful. I want it to create something really wonderful that has impact in the world so that I get more money. It does seem to be the way. The companies that are producing things that have positive impact on people, it's what they want, it's what they are willing to spend money on. That's how the money flows. You have some choices. You have some freedom to design something new. If there are some things that you're having to do that don't work for you, I'm dying here. I can't do this. It's not my creative outlet. It's not for me to do this. It doesn't mean the whole project. The whole project may need a dreamer, may need a creator like you. But the tasks, break it down into tasks. This task is not me. This task is not me. I need to find someone else to do those tasks. If all the tasks in the project are not you, then it's the wrong project. But if you can find one task that is yours to provide out of your creativity, that's enough. That's a green light. I can go forward because I can envision my creativity blossoming, involving all these other people who are getting the job done, providing for them and their families as well. And we all get rewarded because we're doing it as a team, as a unit. I'm the visioner. That's my role. I'm the creator. That's my role. But if your project doesn't have you as the creative source, don't bother doing it. Change it. That's important. You have this opportunity to start something new or rekindle your passion for what you're up to. You can't get it wrong here. You just have to be honest with yourself. Because if you're engaging in a bunch of activities that are sapping the life out of you, that's not sustainable. That's your higher self and your soul's way of saying, Donald, focus on the creative. Find what you can apply your creativity to and run with it. Does that help?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
Yeah, you're right on track.
Thank you.
Absolutely. We've been working between the words. Of course. We love you so.
Thank you.
And we look forward to hearing more about what you create.
I have a few things in mind.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no shortage of
And
what.
get very niche specific.
And that's okay. Just make sure your passion is there, that your creativity soars, that you have your role in it, that you can say, yeah, this is me. This is my fun. This brings me joy. This lights me up. This gives more back to me than what I give. Does that make sense?
Does.
Wonderful. All right. We love you so.
Thank you.
And John, who is next?
Melissa.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can. Where do we begin?
Thank you for last week. I do feel a lot lighter since doing that meditation. What I'm noticing is still like there's still something in me that's scared to trust myself or is it my higher self, or when I use my pendulum, is my negative ego influencing this? And I'll double check the answers. But I keep getting that we should move back to Florida, and I just want to make sure, we were gonna stay here, but I keep getting calls in Florida, opportunities in Florida, and but then when I think about going back there, I'm excited with the family and stuff, and when I think about staying here, I think about traveling to different places I want to go to. But I think ultimately what it comes down to me is having impact in meaningful relationships.
That would make sense.
And I think a lot of the reason why this decision's so hard is somebody I really trusted saw me here for 5 years, I was told, and I can't seem to get that out of my head. And I think I'm holding myself hostage to that. That advice, I guess, insight, if that makes sense.
Yeah, well, things have changed since that information came to you. There have been changes. Unexpected.
Yes.
And so as you just let in, oh, okay, seem to be in a different reality than I was before. I seem to be creating something new. I have more choice than I had before.
Mhm.
I've healed a lot. And as I've been healing, I don't have the same resistances that I had before.
Mm.
And as you just let that in, well, I want to trust my higher self. Do I want to hold my higher self hostage to my outcomes? Or am I willing to use the pendulum as a step forward, trusting that my higher self has me no matter what I choose?
Mm.
That it's a process, that it's a growing process, that at this moment in time, the pendulum tells me what's for my highest good. And then I go make that step, trusting the pendulum, the source of the pendulum, which is really your unconscious mind and your higher self communicating to you through that means. This is what's most optimal right now, based on your raw materials, what you believe, what you think and feel, what you choose, what you decide, and what your attitude is. Now, to get more information of what the possibilities are, you want to work with your optimal future self. As you go visit the optimal future who does go back
Mhm.
and has those relationships and thrives, what do you know about what is true about the you that went that route? What do you get to experience? What are you free to be? And then you do another one and you go to the optimal future who stayed in Idaho. And you see, does it have as much love in it?
No, I never looked at it like that.
Because that's the way your higher self and your soul speak to you. They
Mm.
show you the path to love. And as you do that exercise, one is going to be brighter, one is going to be more dynamic. Trust that information.
Hmm. Yeah, because I really was meditating on when you said complexity brings ease, and the yes no of it isn't working. So that's very helpful to look at it in a more dynamic way.
And you might get exactly the same answer.
Yeah.
Have more information from your inner, from your higher self. And
Well,
that's
you helped me a lot. Thank you. This was a very challenging last couple months with losing somebody I cared about and all that came with that. And I was able, you just helped me forgive so much. And that's what I'm present to is, you know, the people that you could say I got hurt by in Florida. It's like, God, I don't even care anymore. You know, like I just want to love them. And even my partner and this whole lawsuit, I'm like, I just wish she would call me and I would just like forgive her and work it out. I mean, I guess that's the part of me that scares me is because I do forgive and I care and I love. I'm, I'm taking some risks and step forward in my business and I want everyone to win. But there's this part of me, it's like, oh, I don't want to be taken advantage of, or is this right? They're really being genuine to me, you know?
and part of that is you building confidence in yourself.
To trust again. Yeah.
You get to build confidence in your choices, in your responses, in your decisions, because at the end of the day, they will respond however they respond, and that's really not on you.
Mm.
Now, you do create your reality to some degree, mostly through allowing. And there's always something more to learn and grow into, and you're not going to be perfect. And we're sorry to tell you that if that was what you were holding out for. However, what you're learning is as you grow, the beauty that is revealed in the complexity of what you're creating and the opportunities that are so abundant for you. Perfect doesn't come close to the joy that you're creating. Perfect is a static state, doesn't have emotion. Really not your goal. It never was. You're here for something much more interesting. And as you let that be expansion, growth, empowerment, opportunity, and impact, positive impact, you lead with your light. And when you heal something that has hurt you, and you release that and you forgive yourself for allowing the hurt, then you can forgive them for being a part of the script. And then it really doesn't matter what they say back to you after that, because you've dealt with the lesson. Oh, I allowed myself to be hurt. I shouldn't do that anymore. I don't think I'm going to do that anymore. Does that make sense?
It does.
And then we're talking about the business deal.
Yeah.
Losing a friend to death is you honor your friend by honoring the face of soul, the final face of soul that she was willing to experience. Transcendent state. She moved on. She did what she came to do. You thought she was supposed to stick around a little bit longer.
It did. Yeah.
But she knew you were in good hands because you had the relationship. You have the relationship with Isis. It doesn't have to be diminished.
Thank you for that. Yeah.
Yes. And so don't grieve that because you didn't lose that. You can grieve the fact that you won't have Jane in your physical reality anymore. That's an ending of a form. And that's how grief occurs, is when there's an ending. There's a sadness. Oh, I thought we had another future, a little bit more time together. I thought that future that I was dreaming was going to include this person, this being. So I'm sad that that future doesn't include that person. But I'm going to revisit the future. Am I still creating that future for me? And are there other souls that become a part of my experience? Because I let go of that form by grieving it. I grieve the ending. I release the form, what I needed it to be. And I'm going to open to something new. I can do that. You can do it. And the grief takes as long as it takes. As you give yourself permission to end the grief easily, elegantly, as you dream at night, complete it so that it doesn't have to interfere with who you're becoming, because the ending has been honored already. The change has occurred. I can forgive myself for whatever I took on. It wasn't mine to take on. Other souls have other journeys. Who am I to say when their soul comes for them? As I begin to recognize their soul is eternal. The light and the love they are is eternal. I haven't lost that. I've only lost the illusion that I had, the form. And I can let that go. That wasn't what was more real about my interactions. It was about the love.
Mm,
And I can honor the love. Does that help?
it does. Thank you.
Yes. And there are so many of you impacted by someone dying unexpectedly. I didn't expect them to die right now. It was very inconvenient. I wish I had had more time. I wish the relationship could have had more depth. I didn't know. I wouldn't have the time. And so, as you allow the healing of those regrets with forgiveness, and allow the gift of the love that you did have with them to be carried forward, to really let yourself know their love made the difference, had impact. And that's what I want to remember. That's what I want to inspire me to be more of who I am. All right. We love you so.
Love you too. Thank you.
Beautiful. All right, John.
Francis. Let's see if I can get it. Good.
Hello.
Yes, dear one.
I am here. Thank you, John. Tara, hello.
Where do we begin?
Well,
Francis
it's
Daniel.
been a very. Sorry, John?
I was just saying, Warren is after you, mate.
Oh, okay, great. So, Tara, it's been an interesting week. I was in a store I go to called Sprouts. And one time I went through the store and I was shopping, and there was a lady who worked in a certain section. And I said, "Boy, you have really pretty hair." And she said, "Oh, thank you." And I walked around, and about 20 minutes later, when I was getting a sandwich done, the general manager of the store said, "You can't flirt with our employees. You can't blah, blah, blah." And I was like, "What? To tell somebody they have pretty hair? I have no hair, so I like hair, you know?" But, and then a couple weeks later, which was last week, I was in there, and I was getting a sandwich made, and there was a gal cutting up cold cuts back there. I said, "You look terrific. You should be a model." And the guy that was taking care of me, a 20-year-old kid, walked around and he told the manager that I said I gave her a compliment. And anyway, the manager came over and said, "Hey, look, let's not escalate this. Let's not make a big." I said, "Escalate what? I didn't do anything." He said, "Well, you can't talk about a woman's looks." And I went, I'd like to edify everybody. If I see a family, I tell them they're a beautiful family. Or if a guy's in real good shape, I ask him what he does. And he said, "Yeah, no, I understand. You're from a different generation." So I said, "Yeah." I said, "I give you my word. I'm not going to do that anymore, but I'm friendly to everybody." So, Tara, what do you think about all that?
So the most appropriate focus is, okay, what's coming up that I'm allowing this sort of parental authority in my reality, and how am I responding?
Yeah,
Am I responding appropriately, or am I going into child or adolescent?
I just kind of asked Tara, I said, "What is it that I did that caused a problem?" And they said, "Well, you
Well,
talked about her
that
looks or
that
whatever."
that route isn't going to get you the answer you're seeking. because now
Yeah.
you're just looking for, well, am I to blame? Am I not to blame? Are they to blame? Who am I going to blame for this? So looking at it from what happened, what so, is really irrelevant. It's what is the impact the experience had on you? What emotions came up? What is coming up to be cleared out? Does that make
Okay.
sense? Because the experience is for you to show yourself what is in my raw materials. What am I thinking? What am I feeling? What do I know to be true about myself? What am I focused on? What is my attention going to? And am I creating more of what I want? Am I creating some of what I don't want? And so it's really to look at it from the reality creator standpoint. Okay, I've had two experiences. The first one, I didn't really make it mean anything that I was aware of other than, well, what a jerk, or something like that. But it happened a second time. And so now you have to pay attention to it as what
Yeah.
is going on in my belief system, that this is what I'm creating. When what would I like to create instead? What would have been a more positive reality that I could be creating? And what's in my beliefs that has me have this experience where I express myself and I get shut down? I'm made bad and wrong, and I don't think I'm doing anything. I don't have any negative intents. I don't have any harmful intents. And yet the message that I'm getting is that I'm being inappropriate, that there's something wrong with who I'm being. And so as you let that in, okay, that's the message. Do I really believe that? Well, I can remember when I did. I can go to an earliest time where that was there. Maybe it's not my adult that has the need right now. Maybe it's my child or my adolescent. Maybe I need to go check with them and heal something.
Interesting. Because I'm very polite with people. When I see a family, I tell them what a beautiful family they have because I know it's going to make them happy. And I try to be a message of happiness and hope. I do my best to do that whenever I'm out and about. And, if I comment on somebody's, um, the way they keep their hair, because she's a young woman. And, the other gal who really did look like a model, I don't understand why that would be offensive, because these are not offensive comments.
So we're not going to talk to you about whether it made sense or not. We're just going to talk to you about the response you got.
Okay.
So the impact you have is important to look at. I don't understand it, but I had impact. I created a reality I don't want. What do I want instead? What is it showing me about how I'm feeling? Not all of me, but some of me. Because you could have created the reality where you paid the compliment and she goes, oh, yeah, I get that all the time. So nice of you to say so. But you didn't create that. You created somebody punishing you.
Yeah, I did.
And so
Is that guilt?
what's going on in you? What aspect of you has that going on? It's not your spiritual
Is
adult.
Could that be from childhood punishment in childhood?
Yes, it could be. It's worth looking into. It's worth checking out.
Yeah.
And then you go rescue him. Your spiritual adult doesn't need to be rescued, but your child does. Needs help understanding that whatever was going on for him wasn't in his best interest, wasn't acceptable.
Right.
And you need to bring your higher self in and change the reality. He deserves that. You deserve that. Because you can't see anything else other than I'm a victim. They're reacting. I don't even know what it's about. I'm the last to know. But I'm being punished. I'm being criticized. And as you let in, oh, it's an opportunity to heal something. It's not about whether they're right or I'm wrong. It's for me to dig deeper into what needs healing right now so that it doesn't get reflected out there.
Right.
Does that help?
It does. It does. And ironically, in the same store, a woman passed me by, and I said to her, I smiled and I said, I didn't know they had movie stars in here. And the woman turned around and smiled and she said, oh my gosh, thank you. And I said, no, thank you. I said, you're lovely. I said, where are you from? She said, I'm from Westchester. I said, in New York? She said, yes. I said, I'm from that area too. So we talked for about a half hour. And then I started to talk to somebody else, and she passed me a number of times. And I really didn't know, believe it or not, for all the, dozens and dozens of women I've been out with in my life, I just don't seem to have the confidence I once had. And I never asked her if she was unattached and, can we exchange numbers? In retrospect, I thought that would have been a better thing for maybe her and certainly for myself. And so what do you think is going on there? That I wouldn't check more deeply, because we got along great. Everything that we talked about. And by the way, she was exactly the type of woman I like physically, but I really liked her emotionally, really liked her. And she felt like a friend,
Wonderful. So you're getting closer to creating what you want.
It seems that way, doesn't it?
Yes, wonderful. Yes, keep
So Tara,
dreaming the dream of what will you have? What
Oh
are the
yeah,
qualities you get to be when you have the relationship that allows you to be loving, that allows you to receive and give love, with a focus on giving, of course. As you
yeah, of course, yeah.
who do I get to be, and what is the value of creating that sooner than later? As you let
Well,
that,
we got along so well. And I ran into her again 2 or 3 times, and I just waved and smiled, and she waved and smiled. I'm wondering, because she did go out of her way to wave and smile later on in my time over at the store, if I really blew it, if I should have said something, and I just guess I didn't. I guess maybe it was probably a good thing, because maybe I'll run into her again. And she won't think, here's a guy trying to pick up girls. He's just being a nice person. And anyway, so did I do anything awkward or wrong?
Well, you know the answer to that. Do you sense that you did with her?
The outcome came out very, very good.
Yes.
So
Created the
I
reality
suppose
you created the reality your
I,
spiritual adult wanted, which is
yeah,
important because that's the one that matters to you. However, in the other instances, getting your hands slapped or being told you're bad and wrong is not the response that your spiritual adult would create. And so
no,
you have to ask what aspect of me needs some attention, needs healing, needs love.
I see. Okay, Tara, that sounds good. That's good. Now, I guess anything's possible, so I could run into this lady again,
Yes.
maybe at the same
Good.
store or whatever, you know.
Yes, and well, she may or may not be attached. You want to write a script, well, this or something better. Someone who's,
Yes,
because you might meet her and then find out she is attached, and that would be disappointing. But what if you create a reality where the person you meet is available also? Maybe her, or
yeah,
maybe someone else.
or something better, right? Tara, thank you very much. Thank you
So
for
we love you so.
helping. Yeah, thank you. Love you too. Thank you for helping me see the light in things here.
Absolutely. We appreciate each and
Okay,
every opportunity to speak with you.
my pleasure.
All right. And so to this group, so much depth.
Warren.
Oh, Warren. Yes, of course.
Actually, it's after 6:30, so I'm okay to go with the next session. If
All
you
right.
want to wait, if you want to wait, that's fine with me. And this has
No,
been great.
we don't want to wait.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
Sure.
I'll try to be short. And everybody that spoke here, it's an honor. And I really liked your phrase, lead with your light, Tara, to one of the people that spoke.
Yes.
I honor the group. I honor what you're doing. I honor each and every individual that spoke tonight because I totally relate to everyone that did. My gig is I work with dreams and tarot. And recently I had a dream. And by the way, in one of my dreams, not this one, but one prior to that, I actually was with an adolescent in the entourage I was with. This is usually how it works out in the dream. My team is like playing a role of some kind. And the kid said that he just needed a rest. He needed to sleep. So I really woke up from that dream confused. Who is this kid? What is he saying? I realized, my adolescence been in charge far too long. It's time for a major change, and the kid needs a rest. So beyond that, very recently had a dream where I was late. I didn't realize I was late. I was delayed. When I finally got to the destination, there was a group of people dressed in white, 3 individuals, and they had started. It was for a meal, and there were 3 places they were sitting there. It was a 4th place. It was for me, and I was holding them up from their meal, and I was invited, and my reaction was, God, I'm invited here. What? And I'm holding them up. What? And then I woke up, of course. And then shortly after that, I did a tarot reading. I'm into tarot. And the issue at hand, card number 1, was the 3 of Cups. So Morgan Greer calls it the abundance of self. If AI looked at it, it's the 3 of Cups in tarot represents joy, celebration, and community. Reversed, it can indicate social isolation, feeling left out, or potential conflicts within the group. So I just wanted to share that this evening, not surprising, tends to come in these groups, has what I say, grand slam home run. All the issues hit. you lead with your light. It's worth looking into, are the phrases I'm taking away from here. And any more you can add to that tonight, Tara. Thank you.
Yes, how wonderful. So the Three of Cups initiates the tarot spread. Joy, celebration, and what was the last one? Community.
Yeah, community.
What you're up to, what you're creating more of, what you are interested in creating more of. Certainly you have measures from your past where you created all three of those things. But the pain overshadowed a lot of that. There were times of pain that had to be healed, that you have healed, that you are free of. They are no longer who you are. You have emerged from your cocoon, the butterfly, free to fly. As you let yourself know, my natural state is the Three of Cups. Abundance flowing over into my reality. But I can choose to turn the card upside down. And they're my favorite ways of doing that. Isolation. What were the other two?
Isolation, feeling left out, or potential conflicts within a group.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. If there's a conflict, I feel left out. So I isolate. Usually in that order for you.
Yep.
So you need a new way to deal with conflict when it happens, so that you can turn the card back up the way it is intended to be. So if there's a conflict out here, much like what Francis is dealing with, wow, where the heck did that come from? I was being nice. I was being kind. I didn't expect it. It was an aspect of himself that needs healing. Sure, he could have written it off. Oh, typical me, it's my generation. We're just chauvinist pigs. No. His intention was to be loving, to be kind, to be generous in his comment, to acknowledge beauty. And then he got slammed down for it. Whoa, what the heck was that? But that script isn't the script of the spiritual adult, is it?
No.
And for you, a script where conflict happens. What do I make it mean about myself when there's a conflict? It's not safe. Oh my gosh. They really don't care about me. They don't like me. They don't love me. They don't value me. I better disconnect and isolate. But that's not the spiritual adult talking, is it? And yes, you have healed. Each of you have healed so very much, but there's this last little holdout as you step into co-creating with the goddess.
What role does forgiveness play in that last?
Yes, you can't take that energy with you.
Yeah.
To stand in being the co-creator, let's do a quick visualization of the you that knows your value, is a bringer of light and love. Not only you're not two-dimensional, you have complexity and you do have emotion. And sometimes those emotions are conflicting, and sometimes they are intense, and sometimes they are not comfortable or appropriate to society, because you have the whole range of emotion. Your ability to transcend and feel ecstatic emotion is not comfortable to most people. I don't think I can go there with you, Warren. I don't know if I'm comfortable. Creates a conflict, doesn't it?
Yep.
You don't usually talk about how the higher emotions can be bad, so to speak, can be uncomfortable, can be threatening to others. Just as equally as the low end, the anger, the rage, the punishment, whatever. So as you're growing, as you're reaching to be in those higher states more and more, the belief that if I go to those states, I make other people uncomfortable. That's not a spiritual adult script. That's the child or the adolescent who had an experience where when he was so ecstatic, so free to be, was either punished for it or shut down or whatever, he needs a different reality. That script has to be rewritten for him, not for the current you. The current you can go into those states and be totally okay and create a reality where you're accepted for that, where you're valued for that. But remember, as you expand, as you grow into this next level of you, you have to take your child and your adolescent with you. So they need to be expanded as well, don't they? So you need to give them that healing and let them know, hey, we've come a long way and you have what you need and you have what you want. You have the love that you want. This ability to go into an expanded state is critical for who I'm becoming. And we need to change the script where you get punished for it. We must heal that. And we heal it by changing it. What do you want the outcome to be? Here you are in this beautiful expanded state. And he's going to tell you what he wants. I want to be cocooned in love. I want to be connected. I want my environment to be beautiful, supportive, healing, nurturing, whatever he comes up with. He's going to have his own words for it. We're just giving some ideas to him because he's listening too. He's like, oh, finally. Finally.
Do you think it'll come out in the dreams? Will I have dreams now?
It could be.
Yeah.
Could. Very well. Yeah.
I'm hoping for that. Yeah. It
Yeah.
works for me.
And the adolescent too is very interested in this topic.
Oh. Yeah. Amazing.
Because he wants to belong to the world. And a reality where he goes and enters ecstatic states and comes back and is rejected is just not great. How can he have love and be who he is if he's going to be rejected for it? So it's either or right now for him. Yeah. Either I fit in and I don't explore that, or I explore that and I get rejected. I don't fit in. I don't belong. So it's got to be resolved for both of them. And as you turn it over to your higher self, hey, I don't have a clue how to do this, but you do. Let your higher self deal with it.
Thank you.
So that you're free to soar, because this is an aspect of you. It is part of who you are. It is one of the maps you are here to make. You've been making it. Shows up in genius. It shows up in dreaming new realities, visioning new stuff. It shows up in the technology and all the things you've been interested in. It's not a small part of who you are. It's an important, relevant part that is needed in the new world of dominion. The permission to dream and soar and reach ecstatic transcendent states through imagination, through creativity. So important, so valuable. And as you let in, it's not, I can't separate that from me. I want that identity. I want that to be what I lead with. But I don't want to sacrifice love or belonging. And I've been in a world where I've needed to. I either get love and the belonging or I get to be me. It's not really fair. It's not really right. And you've healed a lot of that already. So much has been healed. There's just this last little bit. You can't take the pain of that into the new world of dominion. It's not part of dominion. Pain is not part of dominion. As each of you really let that in, wow, the new world that we're designing and dreaming, we're not fixing pain. It wasn't there to begin with. It's a new way of being. It's something so beautiful and precious that you are creating. So valuable. Does that help?
Amazing. Yes. With these things we're reading in the news and the changes, my image, I'm not a surfer, my image is we're all on surfboards and we're at the crest of a tsunami. Things are happening so fast, so profoundly. And by the way, on that same tarot reading, the number 10 card, the best outcome, was the major arcana justice. Pretty rare. And it says signifies making decisions based on reason and truth.
Yes, goodness, truth, and beauty.
Yeah, indeed. Thank you.
It's much easier to bring in goodness and beauty.
Yeah.
But you are here to bring in the higher truths.
Yeah.
Not the truth of current circumstances. The archetypal higher truths of how things really work, how reality is really created, what part you actually play in creating reality as you let it be about that and not right and wrong. Because you see, in those higher truths, there is no right and wrong. It just is. And as you let that be, wow, what's possible if I can just be? Anything is possible. And I can focus on goodness, truth, and beauty. Together, a synergy is developed that's greater than the whole, than each of the parts, you see. Where truth brings in a higher level of beauty and a higher level of goodness. And up it goes. More and more broad, more and more expanded, more and more beautiful. It's part of what you're here to do. Wonderful.
Joy and celebration. Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Joy and celebration. And community. Communion. Yeah. Community is based in communion. As you commune with higher self. As you commune with the goddess. You can receive what you need so that your soul is fully expressed in this lifetime. So
with a seat at the table. Thank you.
Yes, yes, the white figures. Ooh, I wonder who they were.
I know who they were.
Yes. And you have a seat at the table.
Late, but I'm there.
Better late than never.
Amen. Yeah.
All right. We love you so. And that's where that need for forgiveness, self-forgiveness comes.
Yeah.
What if I'm late?
Better late than never.
Yes. Wonderful. All right. We love you so. And thank you for your vulnerability.
Ditto.
So beautiful. All right. And so we go for now. We go with love and peace.